What's up, everybody? Welcome to day 4 in this journey that we're doing to level 2. We're 4 days into level 1 and we've made it to 1206. And we have a surprise guest here today, my beautiful Zorro, my little doggy. Yeah, he's so cute. Anywho, so now that we made it to 1206, we're actually going to change the puzzle rush to 30 now. And I'm going to stop explaining certain things about the tactics. I'm just going to just be like, okay, I see that's a back rank, and I'm going to solve it. Since the first few videos of the 15, I basically I went more in depth into those explanations. So if you're just watching this as your first video on this channel, I recommend going through the tutorial playlist first if you're like brand new to the game, or even if you're not brand new, because I think anybody can learn the right way to get started by going through the tutorial. See, in a lot of games, people kind of just, and I used to be this way, like when you play like Zelda or a video game, you click the button to like skip all the words because you hate, maybe it's like your attention span is just terrible, so it's like you just want to click through everything and then just start roaming around and doing whatever, and you end up skipping all the vital information that would make you go way farther in the game. That's kind of like as you mature and grow up, you start to recognize the value of actually taking a moment to reading what they say, to learn the proper path, and learning that proper path will end up taking you a lot farther in your journey. But sometimes part of the exciting parts of the game is just figuring it out on your own too. So I get that. I'm the same way. So all this stuff I kind of figured out on my own. I put some things together, some advice from higher level players and streamers and content creators and all that. But then I kind of use my own judgment and I'm doing my own thing because I don't know, I just feel like from my experience this is the way that I feel is going to work for me generally, and maybe someone like me might have a similar experience. Anyways, enough of my little rant for today. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and get the puzzle rush going. We're going to solve the 30 today. So on the easier ones, I'm going to tell you the theme and kind of just be like, okay, this is a back rank. You kick the king back that way. Now you should still do the checklist. So I'm not in check. And then, okay, I see a back rank. Theme looks like if I kick the king back, okay, I can go ahead and give him on the back rank mate. That's basically how I'm going to go about these explanations. Alright. So, are we in check? No. Do we have any checks? 2, 3, 4. Okay. Well, this one seems like the most obvious. It wins a rook. If you look at the count, we have 4 pieces. They have 4 pieces. So we're just up a rook in that line with check. And they have to block with either the knight or the bishop. If they block with the knight, we'll take that too. And if they block, they can also block this way, I guess. And probably at that point, we would just trade down and be up a rook and be happy. So, we'll just go with that. Okay, we're in an endgame. We're black, so we're gonna try to get that pawn to the other side. So here, he's probably gonna take here, and because the king's in the way, it's very likely that our pawn's gonna get to the other side. But let's make sure. Here, 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 Now it's on its starting square, so it can move twice. Or 2 squares like that. So let's do that again. Here. 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 So the king has to go out of the way. Notice if it goes here, our pawn's going to promote where it checks that king. So that's a very important detail if they go that way. So most likely they need to go any other direction. And we keep going. And we make it before they do. So we should start being able to check the king and get that checkmate. Okay. See, and they're going to get right there as we queen. And that would be the game. Okay. I see the bishop and rook would work together to deliver a checkmate here. The rook cuts off these squares. The bishop cuts off these squares. I don't see we're in check right now. So that's just going to be checkmate. Okay, looks like a back rank mate. I don't see we're in check right now. We go here. He can block with the queen, but we'll take it in any of those scenarios. So, and that'll still be checkmate. Okay. Looks like it's a back rank mate, because, well, first of all, we're not in check. Queen takes rook. The king has no escape square. So it's kind of it's not really a back rank. I mean, he is stuck on his back rank, so I'm going to call it a back rank. But yeah, so we just take that. Okay. Now, we're not in check. I notice the bishop is controlling these squares. So the king is stuck on his back rank. Again. So when we go rook here, it's just going to be checkmate. Okay. So here, we're not in check. I see the queen and knight are eyeing this square, which is only controlled by the king. So if I take that with my queen, it's attacking the king. They can't do anything about it, and that's checkmate. Okay. Alrighty, I don't see we're in check. Now, looking for checks, you would eventually find that queen here attacks the king, and it has no escape squares. It can't capture the queen because of support of the rook, and that would be the checkmate. Okay, are we in check right now? No. Now, this rook's pinned, so it can't move. That's an important detail. And maybe on the checklist, you might want to add that. You know, if you are having trouble identifying the pins, maybe this first you check if you're in check. A lot of checks there. And then after that, you say, are any of my pieces pinned? You can modify your checklist to prioritize what you think is important. So if your own struggle is finding the pins in a position, then make that a priority in your checklist. You know, hey, this piece is pinned, so I can't move it. Because then later on, when you're thinking of moves, because like, I don't know if you saw yesterday's, or yeah, it was yesterday. I'm doing these every day right now, so for me, it's yesterday. I was thinking about moving a piece that was pinned, so maybe even for me, I'll add that to my checklist just to make sure I'm aware of what's pinned or not. Anywho, enough of that rant. Let's go, I'm seeing queen takes pawn is check. Can't capture the queen. Looks like the king has no escape squares. Okay. We're not in check. Are any of our pieces pinned? No. So I see queen takes pawn would check the king, and it has no escape squares. Can't do anything about the queen because it's guarded by the bishop, so that's going to be checkmate. Alright, are we in check right now? No. Are any of our pieces pinned? No. Okay, so what do we do now? Well, whatever it is, it's got to be fast because, well, they would like to play here and checkmate us. But our queen's actually blocking that, so we might have time to just push the pawn and then promote to a queen. And if they took our queen, we would make another queen and then checkmate him on the back rank. Okay. So here, are we in check? No. Are any of our pieces pinned? No. If you want to add if any of their pieces are pinned, you can. But I don't see any here. I do see queen here attacks the king, and they have no escape squares. They can't capture the queen, so that's gonna be the checkmate. Alright. Are there any checks? No. Are there pins? Yes. I see that this pawn is currently pinned to our king, so we can't move it. I don't see any of their pieces are pinned right now. Now, I see the bishops eyeing these squares like this. So, if I play knight here, it would check the king and they would have no escape squares. They can't capture the knight, so that's going to be the checkmate. Okay, are we in check? No. Are there any pins in the position? I see one. Our knight is currently pinned to the rook. Now, gauging how important the pins are can be, I think like the lower the point valued piece that's being pinned, the less important the pin really is. So like, if this were a queen, you'd be more worried than if it was a rook. So you could actually like use that information to make better decisions, because if you could move this knight to attack a queen, for example, that would be more, you winning the queen would be worth more than you losing the rook. So that's like an example of how you could improve. So anyways, do we have any checks? I don't really see any checks in the position. I see we can win on bishop here. It's hanging right now. I don't see anything better. I mean, it's pinning us too, so getting rid of that bishop would be cool. And looking at all the pieces on the board, let's see, they have 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pawns are equal right now. So we would just be up 3 points in that. So I kind of like that. Alright. Are we in check right now? No. Are there any pieces pinned? Yes, our knight is currently pinned. So we can't... If we moved our knight, our king would get captured, and that's bad because of the queen. So, we can't do that. Now, I see we have queen captures pawn with check. And it looks like because of the bishop, they would have no escape squares, and they can't do anything about the queen, so that's going to be checkmate. Alright. Are any of our pieces pinned? I don't see any. And neither do they. Are there any checks in the position? So I'm noticing here, if we can kick the knight this way, and the knight's actually gonna keep, the knight and the bishop are basically keeping the king trapped behind. So when we sack our queen and we take with the rook, it's gonna be mate. Sack is a short for sacrifice, if you didn't know. Okay. Are we in check? No. Are any of our pieces pinned? Maybe our rook. But I wouldn't really call that a pin, to be honest, because it's supported. Now, I'm looking at knight check because it would fork, which a fork is forcefully winning a piece. So, because I'm doing this check, either I'm going to take a queen or they're going to have to take with the rook. Because the knight's supported by the queen. And if they take, this is an important detail here, we could just take a queen, but we can actually do better. Because now, by distracting the rook to move forward, now we actually have a chance to go and get him on the back rank. This is like a higher level version of the back rank because you're trying to distract one of their pieces so you can get that back rank. So you go here, and they didn't. That would have been a really good one for them to really make you solve, because I think that that next move would really get some people, because maybe they would just win the queen, and that's okay. But if you have checkmate on the board, you should definitely play. You need to be able to find those, because long term in your journey, the more of those you find, the more wins you get. You know, you can go wrong with even up a queen, so don't take that chance if you don't have to. Okay, we're at 17 here. What are we doing now? Well, are we in check? No. I don't really see any pins. Maybe if the rook moves, this pawn would get captured. That's a very minor pin. Now, they have 4 pawns. They have 6 pawns. We have 5. But we have 2. So, we have 2 pieces, which is worth 6 points. Versus an extra rook, which is worth 5 points. So their extra pawn and a rook is 6 points, and our 2 extra pieces is 6 points. So it's technically an equal position, but point-wise. But generally, having the 2 pieces tend to work out better because a pawn doesn't really do a lot in a position, while the 2 pieces can do a lot more. Not always, but generally that's kind of how it's looked at. So right now he could be winning our knight. And if we try to move our knight out of the way, he could capture the rook. Now we could take, and then maybe just go like knight here, and that would probably be okay. But let's see if we have something more. Now, an interesting move that I'm looking at now is knight captures rook. And what's interesting there, so if I go here, in order for him to stay equal in points, he would have to take our rook. But the problem with that is we have knight to e6, which would actually check the king and win the rook. So we're actually winning 5 points in this position. Now long term, we're just up 6 points, and we're probably going to win the game. Okay. Are we in check? No. Are any of our pieces pinned? I don't see any. This check loses because rook takes. Now I have check, and I could actually capture the rook. And then we'd be up a rook, but without even counting the points, I think that would probably be good. But let's count it anyways. We got 6 pawns on the board. They got 6 pawns. We got 5. So we would be up 4 points in that line. And that's really good. So now we're going to take a moment just to see if there's anything better, but it's good. At worst case scenario, we're up 4 points, which is a good sign. Check. Here. Can we do anything to force a mate? I think because the queen's by itself, it's not going to work out. You need at least like 2 or 3 pieces in the area to get the checkmate to happen. The queen is powerful, but by herself, she's not enough to actually checkmate anybody. The only exception is like if I went here and they went there, and this rook wasn't here, then maybe, but that's never happening here. So I'm gonna go for the line that wins 4 points. And that's actually really bad. They traded their queen and now they're just hopeless. Even if you lose, you should try to hold on to as much pieces as you can. Alright, so we're not in check. I don't see any pins in the position. I'm looking at queen check. And because the queen's controlling these squares, the bishop's controlling these squares, king has to go here, and then queen here is going to be the mate. Okay. Are we in check? No. Do we have any pins in the position? Not really. Maybe the pawn is being pinned to the rook, but that doesn't seem that big of a deal. I'm looking at this check. They can't capture the queen, and they have no escape squares. GG. Okay, are we in check? No. Are any of our pieces pinned? No. Maybe you can say the pawn to the rook, but... And if you saw that, then you're already realizing that this pawn is undefended right now, and you could capture it, and you're probably going to win a rook. So already we're probably winning 6 points at the worst case scenario. Looking at the position, I don't see anything else to go for. We don't have enough pieces in the game to really checkmate them or anything, so I'm just going to go for that. Okay? This is an important moment. And maybe this is an example of why I need to slow down here. So I rushed through this tactic and they gave a resource that I wasn't prepared for. So maybe going forward, I'm going to take a little bit more time in explaining these to make sure I'm finding all the resources. We're not worried about speed right now, so take more time just to get it right. Now, if they do queen here, we can't capture the rook because they'll capture our queen. What we can do is we can actually capture their queen. Now we're up a pawn right now, important detail. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, we're up a pawn. Yeah, I'm rushing through. Okay, going forward, I'm going to take a little more effort into analyzing the position before I solve these. So, you know how I added the pin to the checklist? Now I'm going to add how many points are on the board. Is it an equal position? Are we up? Are we down? And take a little bit more time just to recognize all the resources here. So I'm going to play queen. So when we play queen takes, they'll have to respond with knight takes to keep the points equal. Well, they'll be down a point, but it's better than being down 10. And then in that moment, the knight and bishop will be here, and we can actually push our pawn to e5. And it'll be supported by our knight. Now, in that moment, they do have one resource. Bishop captures, bishop to b4 check, trying to get out of the fork. But we have the move c3, which would attack the bishop and the knight at the same time. And they would, regardless of which piece they move, they're going to lose the other. Okay, they went for that one instead. And now We're up a pawn, and I think that was up 3 points there. I would have to recount it, but okay. Are we in check? No. Are there any pins? If this knight moved, this pawn would be pinned to our king. That's an important detail. This pawn is currently pinned to the king. Now, what's the point count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 4 pawns. Each of these are 3 points. So we're down a point right now. Alright. I see we have queen captures f2 check. And they have to either go here or here. If they go here, we have queen to... No, we don't. Queen's guarding that. Queen here. If they go here... Interesting. I mean, we could capture another pawn with check. And then maybe they go up. And now we're up a pawn. Queen captures here. Do we have anything better? If I go check, they take. Check. Okay, queen takes, king here. Queen check. I guess they can go up. And it would kind of just repeat. So, if they go here, they can't take this because we would have queen g5 checkmate. Because the king would be here, and our pawn would support our queen, and they wouldn't have any escape squares there. So here, 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 they had to go back up. Now in that moment, we could give them another check. And maybe they go up. Now let's look at what happens if they go up. So again, we could probably take another pawn and be up a pawn there. I don't really see a way to keep checking him because this king's on light square. So the king's on light squares. So this bishop's gonna have a hard time attacking this king right now. Check here. Maybe what we can do is go bishop g3, which would attack the queen. It also controls this square, so there's no queen e5 check. So here, so it's a queen takes. If they go here, I can go here. If he goes back up, we can go back up. Okay, so let's look at this one again. I think here, after bishop here, we're threatening queen h2 mate. And I don't see him stopping that. The only check in the position he would have is blocked. And yeah, he would have to give up the queen in order to save that position. Now that's important because in the line where he goes here, now that we know what's happening if he goes up, that actually helps us better when we go down, because if he goes back up, we can go here. And if he goes up, we have the same story. So here, here. He goes back up. We go back up. So he has to go back down. Right? Now, here we can go ahead and win another pawn. The big question is, can they capture the bishop? And you can see how, like, as you get up here in 22, it's starting to get a lot more. You gotta calculate these out a little bit more. So, queen takes, king here, queen takes. Probably back up. And we go back up. They go back down. We take here. With check. If they capture the bishop now, our queen is controlling these squares. So if we play g5 check, he would have to go either here or here. If he went here, we would have this move, and I think that actually... And that would kind of force him down here anyways. So here... And so... Queen takes here, queen takes, back, queen back up, queen back down, queen takes, queen takes. Pawn push. Oh, we can't even go there because our pawn... Yeah, sorry. Pawn was already there. So they actually... The only option is to take. And when they do that, we can swing our queen over like this. They can actually capture the pawn in that line. Right? So, if you're having a hard time looking at it, what you can do is you kind of already know you want to play this. So, we can actually make one move and see what they do. And then kind of try to figure it out from there. Because I think worst case scenario, we have at least the draw here where we can force them back and forth. So, yeah, they definitely should have made us solve that. Because there was a lot more to that story. Anyways, yeah. So, what are we doing here? So, first of all, are we in check? No. Are there any pins in the position? Not really. Okay. Point value. So we just lost the queen. Otherwise, let's see, we got 4 pieces. We got 4. So the knights and bishops are called minor pieces. Those are the 3-pointers. 3-pointers are minor pieces. Major pieces are 5. And then the queen is worth 9. You can technically make the queen into a major piece if you want to make it easier. I think they already do that, so maybe it's just the major pieces are the queen and the rooks, and the minor pieces are the knights and bishops. So we have each side has 4 minor pieces on the board right now. 2 rooks on each side. And they have a queen and we don't. So we're down 9 points right now. We could capture this, but then we'll be down 6 points. So let's see if we can do anything better. Again, remember, even though you lose your queen, it's not over. The key here is keep pieces on the board, look for ways to make the game as complicated as possible. And pay attention to tactics. So here, bishop takes pawn is check. So we should look at that first. That seems like the only real check in the position. Now notice the knight's guarding the bishop, so he can't actually take. The knight's controlling this square too. So the king's only move is actually to go here. And we can go ahead and play. So bishop takes pawn check. And then we can bring knight to d5. The knight would check the king. And it actually has no escape squares because the bishop is now here and controlling these squares. So the bishop is controlling these squares and the knights are controlling these squares. And that would just be the checkmate. So even though we lost the queen, we're getting the checkmate, winning the game. Oh no. Alright. We don't have any checks. I don't see any pins, but it looks like we're down a rook. We got 4 pawns to their... No, so yeah, we got 4 pawns to their 3. But they have an extra rook. So they're up 4 points right now. But that's not the end of the story. See, not all pawns are created equal. And this is what you're going to learn. The point value starting out with these pieces can change. Starting out, I just taught you the basic point value of all the pieces. And that's good on a general level. But it's important to recognize when a piece is more valuable or less valuable. So, pawns that are closer to promoting to a queen are a lot more valuable than the pawns down here. So, even though they're only worth 1 point, technically, the fact that they can promote makes them a lot more powerful. So think about it like this. If we push this pawn, right? If they did nothing, like if we had infinite, and this is a good way to start calculating a position. Imagine if you had infinite amount of moves here. What would you do? You would probably get this guy to a queen and then checkmate him. If you just if it was always black's turn, you would just march this pawn up to a queen and win. Okay, then once you figure that out, you ask, well, all right, if it's white's turn, now you ask if it's white's turn, what would they do? They would take that pawn, right? Now, what if I march this pawn up? It would protect this pawn, and then I can go up. Well, if I do that, he can take. And then, if I march either pawn up that way, the rook can take us. But, if they take and we take back, now if I push this pawn up, the rook can't take, because they'll actually lose, because the pawn's going to be supporting it. So they actually cannot stop us promoting in that scenario. Because what'll happen is, if you think about it, we go here. Like, if they race to try to get their king closer, we can push this pawn. And they'll try to stop us with rook here, but then we have this pawn. And these 2 pawns are going to be way too fast for them to stop. Yeah, now it's important not to move this one, because he can go king here. So, we gotta... It's important to be precise here. Take your time. Pawn here, the king can't come and save the day. They have to go rook here. And now we play pawn here. And even if the king comes here, we get pawn here being the mate. Well, not mate, but we would get a queen. And even if they take, we can take back having another queen. Okay. Alright, so this is kind of a weird version of a back rank, but not really. So noticing the fact that this king is kind of stuck behind its own pieces a little bit, but it's kind of not the end of the story. Let's do the checklist. We're not in check. Are there any pins in the position? Maybe if this pawn moves, we have a check, but I don't think that's really a pin. No, I don't really see any pins in the position. Now I do see some checks over here. So if we play rook check, they can play knight takes. And then if queen takes check, their only option there is to block with the queen. And in that moment, we're gonna have knight takes d6 check. And they will have to move the king, because the queen is in that scenario, the queen would now be pinned to the king. So when I played knight takes d6, they have to move the king. And looking at it, if they move the king, their queen would actually be undefended, unless if they go here. So this is the only king move that tries to hold on to the queen. So let's do that again. Rook check, knight takes, queen takes check, queen block, knight check, king has to go here. Okay. Now, king's here. Okay, so what I'm noticing is one thing we didn't do in our checklist yet is look at the points. So let's do that real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pawns versus their 5. They have 2 knights, we have 1. So we're up a pawn, but we're down a knight. So we're down 2 points here. So if we do this, we're going to lose 2 more points. So now we're down 4 points if we go with this line. But don't stop there. Keep going. Even if it looks bad, just ask yourself what happens like 2 or 3 moves deep. Okay. Well, his only option there is to block with the queen. Okay. And then we saw, well, we do have this knight check. And now in that line, we're only down 3 points. Now I see a line where we could take, so when we give this check, the king would probably go here. If we take the queen with check, they're probably going to take back. And then we have an opportunity to take the rook with check, and we'll be up 3 points in that line. However, they might have pawn takes, and I don't think we can stop him from making another queen there. Because our knight being here can't go here because of their knight. And this rook's gone, this queen's gone. The only thing left on the board is that knight. So even though we would win, we would be up 3 points, that pawn would be unstoppable, make a queen, and probably we would lose that game. So, in that line, rook check, knight takes, queen block, knight check, king up. Now we actually have an interesting check here, which is queen to e6 in that line. And we check the king. They can't capture the knight because it's protected by the queen. The only escape square is going to be here. And notice the knight and the queen are both looking at that rook. And the only thing protecting it is the king. So when we play queen takes rook, that's actually going to go ahead and beat checkmate. So that actually looks really good. They decided to just give up the queen. We didn't consider that as a resource. I mean, we did, because I said the only move that holds on to the queen is here. So I didn't really look at what happens if they go here, because I thought just being up a queen would be good enough. So what's going to happen here is queen takes with check. They'll probably have to go here, only move. And we could actually just take that knight next, take the rook next. And kind of just keep trading and win the game. So I'm just going to go for that. Okay. Checks. I don't see any checks. Point value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. So, alright, here's the... So, order of operation... So, let me do that checklist one more time, because I feel like I keep not doing it. Right. So, the priorities are this. First, you say we're in check. Am I in check right now? No. Second, are there any pins in my position? Specifically mine. Not really. Then we look at, do we have any check? Before we look at point value, we think about, do we have any checks in the position? We try to see if we have mate on the board. Because points don't matter if you can checkmate them. So focus on if you can checkmate them first, look for checks, and only if you can't find any right there, that's when you start thinking about point value and captures. So, do we have any checks in the position? I don't see any. So now we start looking at point value. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 pawns. They have 6 pawns. 2 bishops. They only have 1 bishop on the board. But we have 1 rook and they have 2. So there was probably a trade for a rook and bishop, which means we're currently down 2 points. Now, so to repeat what I've already said again with the checklist. First, we identify if we're in check. Second, we look to see if any of our pieces are pinned. Third, do we have any checks in the position and can we see if it leads to a checkmate? Number 4, what are the point values? Number 5, I'm going to add this one. Do our opponents have any threats of their own? We look and see, the same checklist that we just did, we're now going to make the same checklist for them. There's 2 checklists now. The first one is identifying our stuff. And maybe let's see if I can get like a notepad, or actually, let's go over here for a second. Does this go all the way on? Nice. Alright, yeah, we're just going to use this real quick. So, not just tactics. I think in general, this chess game checklist. I'm not going to edit this or anything. This is just on the fly, so. 1. Are we in check? 2. Are any of our pieces pinned? Do we have any checks that lead to mate? 4. What is the point balance? 5. Does our opponent have any checks that well, we already kind of figured that out on number 1. So let's do, does our opponent have any threats? This is going to be if they're threatening to checkmate us in any way, or if they're threatening to win any of our pieces. Okay. Then, if we determine once we determine what their threats are, we'll have to gauge how important. Maybe I'll add a little gauge. I can't spell. Sorry. Gauge how important those threats are. So, you know, if they're threatening to checkmate us on the next turn, that's like that's like code red, you know, it's like all hands on deck, you know, you got to make sure whatever you do is critical, because otherwise you're getting checkmated. But, you know, if they're threatening to just win like a pawn, then it's like, well, that's not really the biggest deal, and then that maybe, you know, I can find other things that I can counterattack them and win more points, maybe. Okay. So number 7. Look for captures. Look for captures and threats. So captures are like if you can win a piece, or, you know, win significant material like the queen or whatever. And the threats could be like you move the bishop to where it attacks the queen, and it also threatens checkmate, and they have to give up their queen in order to save their position. That's one example. Okay, I like this as the checklist, I think. If you could, let me see, maybe I can zoom in a little bit just so you can see it. Oh, no. No. We can make the words bigger, I think. That'll probably work out. Okay. Alright. I'll make this one a little bigger too, just because it's like the header. Okay, so we got ourselves the official checklist of what we're going to do in these tactic puzzles, I think. First we'll check. First we'll ask if we're in check. 2, are any of our pieces pinned? Do we have any checks that lead to mate? What's the point balance? Does our opponent have any threats? Gauge how important those threats are. Look for captures and threats. So, and I'm going to go through each one, and even if it seems tedious, going through it over and over and over and over you're going to get faster at it, and eventually you're going to be just as fast, and now you're going to be actually absorbing the whole position instead of missing the resources like I am. Hopefully. All right. So let's go ahead and get back to the puzzle rush. Sorry, I zoned out there for a second. All right, now that we're back here, and maybe what I'll do. Hold on, I have an idea. Bear with me. Editing on the fly. But I think long term this will be good for us. Okay, hold on. So we're gonna go here. Okay. All right. Now it's gonna. Okay, we don't need to see the check marks, right? I mean, the number will tell us. All right, let me just move this over a little bit. Okay. We'll zoom out just a little bit. Well, let's move it down a little bit. I don't like the little white sticking out, so we'll just, I'm a little OCD in that case, but it's all good. Here we go. Alright, now whenever we solve tactic puzzles, I think I'm going to add this checklist here. Are we in check? I already read it again, so you can see it for yourselves. So when we go through these puzzles, that's what we're going to go through. So right now, are we in check? So right now, we're not in check. Are any of our pieces pinned? I didn't see any. Do we have any checks that lead to mate? I didn't see any. What is the point balance? So right now we traded rook for bishop, so we're down 2 points. Does our opponent have any threats? So they are threatening to take our queen, and that would be a back rank mate. Even if they block. Actually, so wait. So they would. So what would happen is they would take, right? They would block. They would take again. They actually can block with the bishop, which would save their position. But then they can capture our bishop. And they're going to end up winning so many pieces that just already looks bad. Alright. Any other threats? Yeah, they're threatening to also win our bishop. Now, I would say gauging those threats, that seems very... Rook takes queen seems very important, and so does the bishop actually, because even if we just lose the bishop, we're going to be down 5 points, and that's kind of seeming like a bad situation. Even on a general level, it kind of seems like their pieces are a little better. Especially these rooks. Okay, so now we start looking at the position. So now we're currently down 2 points. Now we're going to look for captures and threats. We can capture the rook, and that would actually put us up 3 points. And if they take here, now the point balance is equal. Now I notice in that line, we have a very interesting option. Bishop takes pawn, check. We would win 1 point, and if they take, we would lose 2 points. But now their rook is undefended. So we would actually be able to capture that rook and win 3 points. So at the end of all that, we'll be up 3 points. And just make sure our back rank is still exposed, so you gotta make sure we're not getting checkmated there. And the queen's stuck behind its pawn. All the other pieces are gone. So I think that's what we gotta do. And that's how we did it. Alright, are we in check? No. Are any of our pieces pinned? I don't see any. Do we have any checks that lead to mate? Alright, well, there's 2 checks that I see on the board. There's knight here and here. And I think if either of those they can take, I don't really see a counter follow-up to that. So instead we'll look at what's the point balance. Let's see, 2, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6. They're up a pawn. Otherwise, it looks like that's it. So we're currently down a point right now. Alright. Does our opponent have any threats? Yes. Potentially. If this knight goes away, they are threatening to go queen here. But we do have an escape square. And then maybe they go bishop here, we go here. Queen here. That leads to mate. Okay, so if this knight's gone, queen takes, queen check, king here, bishop check. Bishop's controlling these squares, so the only move is here. Now the queen can take the pawn with check, and the only legal move is to block with the rook. And then after queen takes rook, that's going to be mate. Now the knight's still on the board, but it's important to acknowledge that threat because that's that's pretty important. That's like, I don't know what you call that, DEFCON 1 or Code Red or whatever. Like we gotta act a little quickly here. Now let's look for captures and threats. So I don't see anything we can capture a pawn, but bishop takes, we just lose more points. We could play rook takes, but they could just take back. I don't see a follow-up there. I see bishop here, which attacks the queen, and the queen looks like it's trapped. Now, the important detail here is whether to include rook takes or not. So, let me look at it. So if we go here straight away, they can play rook takes. We can play queen takes. Queen and knight are guarding the pawn. We're attacking the queen. So, if we're going to be winning material, then forcing as many trades and then going for the threat is the better option. Because when we're up at points, we want to trade down and win. So if we see we're winning a queen, we then want to see if we can force trades. So I'm leaning towards rook takes first. Although, the question we have to ask is, do they have a moment where they can ignore that and do something even worse? So they don't have to take this rook. They can actually take our knight. And now our fear is even worse. Now they're on the verge of checkmating us. And I don't think we can stop that. So we don't have time for this. We need to play this right away, otherwise we're getting mated. That was a big one. That was very... And see, that's why this checklist is so good. Because you took all the information that you acquired to make the right decision. And if you just rush through that, you would probably end up thinking trading rooks would be good. A lot of people would. But they would miss how important, how critical the position was, and they would end up losing that game. Alright, are we in check? No. Do we have any checks? I see some. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. Are we in check? No. Are any of our pieces pinned? No. Alright. Now, do we have any checks that lead to mate? Queen takes. They could take with the rook. Queen takes. They can take with the queen. Maybe we have knight check, but I don't feel like we're getting anywhere. Okay, now we gotta look at what is the point balance. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal pawns. We have three minor pieces on the board. They have 2. So we're up 3 points there. But they have 2 rooks. We only have 1. So we're down 5 points there. So at the end, and we have queen. Okay, so it looks like we're down 2 points right now. So does our opponent have any threats? They're threatening to win our queen, and that would increase their point count. That's kind of important. That's pretty important. Not as important as checkmate, but still, I would say it's up there in importance. So what are we gonna do? Well, do they have any other threats? Well, if this knight and rook are gone, maybe they have a back rank mate. But it doesn't feel like that's going to happen anytime soon, so that's not really important right now. I mean, it's still important to notice it, but not. We don't need to, do anything with it yet. Okay, so let's see. We engage the importance of the threats now. I didn't see any other threats in the possession. Now, look for captures and threats. Now, ideally, we want to save our queen. We don't want to be down 8 points. 9 for 3 is 6. We're already down 2, so 8 points altogether would be pretty bad. We can capture a pawn, bringing our point down to 1. And I notice we'll be attacking the rook. Sorry, we actually forgot one more threat. Let's go back and... The last threat is actually just winning our bishop and increasing their point count to 5. Well, 4 if we take back. And I would say that's kind of important. We're losing more points there. So losing the general threat here is we're threatening to lose more points. Either we're going to be down 4 points, or we're going to be down 8 points. Unless we do something about it. So, looking at captures, we have queen takes pawn. We're down 1 point there. If they capture the bishop, they'll be up 4 points. But notice their rook's hanging. So if we take that rook, which is 5 points, now we're going to be up 1 point. And notice we still have the ability to capture this, which would end up being 2 points. And then they still have to react to this check, which could end up being really good for us. So let's look a little deeper. Queen takes. Takes. Queen check. Either they have to block, or they have to move this way. If they do that, we might have rook check. Alright, so I think without looking too far ahead, that seems like the way to go. Now the other thing to think about is if they might go here and save the rook first. We'll be down 1 point there. And if they do, we could take this pawn, and the point value would now be equal. And we're threatening to win another pawn. And we also have another threat in the position. This pawn is now over here. Sorry, now over here. So, we might be able to play rook e1, pinning the queen to the king. So just to give you an idea, queen takes, rook here, pawn takes, and now we could potentially play rook e1. And they can't block with a bishop because our pawn's right here. They can't block with the knight because our knight and bishop are supporting that square. That seems pretty good. Queen takes. Now if they go here, bishop, the final thing to think about is if they bring the rook here. So we're down 1 point there. If we take that, we'll be up 1 point. Sorry, no wait, sorry. Take that, we're down 1 point. We take that, we're up 4 points. Cause hold on, my math is off right now. Queen takes. So so let's go back. We're down 2 points. The calculation struggles. We're down 2 points. If we take this, we're down 1. They go here and we take. We win 5. So that means we're up 4 points. If they capture this, we're up 1. And if we capture the knight, we're up 4. Potentially 5. And with that threat that we just mentioned earlier. I think that seems good. Queen takes here. Bishop takes. Now we're up 4 points. If they take this way, we're up 1 point. Maybe I play rook takes, and it might be able to swing. No, I can't swing that way. So queen takes here, bishop takes, and then pawn takes. We're up a point. You can be up 2 points. This pawn's here, so he can't mate us. I think that's the best scenario for them. And I think that's good for us. So I can't really see past that here. So I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, this way we calculated. So I think we calculated this. So alright, so I think we take. Okay, and that's right, isn't it? Yeah, because we end up winning points there. Okay. Last puzzle. Are we in check? Notice these are definitely harder. You have to actually think through these. They're like, you have to like, if I go here, they do this, and they do this, and I do that, this, that, and this, and that, and it's definitely a little more challenging. Now, are we in check? No. Any pieces pinned? Not really. Do we have any checks that lead to mate? I don't see any. What's the point balance? Alright, 2 rooks, queens, 3 pieces, 3 pieces. Looks like pawns are equal. Notice I didn't count them, I just kind of saw 4, 2. Okay, so we got an equal point balance right now. Does our opponent have any threats? Right now they're threatening to win our queen, which is pretty important. Other than that, I don't really see anything that major. So right now threat level is kind of low. Well, not low, but probably medium. We could lose a queen if we don't do anything about it, but that's not game losing. So as long as we move the queen, we should be at least okay. Okay, so then now look for captures and threats. Ideally, ones that will save our queen. Alright, well, the capture that's speaking to me right now is queen takes a d3. The knight and bishop are currently attacking those squares. And if we do that, we'll be up 3 points. Now, that's not the end of the story. They have a moment where they can attack the only piece defending our queen there. This is a tactic theme called removing the defender. If you can remove the defender of a piece on the board, it becomes vulnerable and easy to capture. So queen takes, bishop takes. Now our queen is... Now we may potentially lose our queen again. Now... Let's see. So we're up 3 points. We're equal. We're up 9 points. I think if they make any move here, we can save our queen. Now, just in case, if you're not confident in that, we could consider winning a piece like this. But that might get a little more complicated because our pawn structure gets ruined, and so I'm probably going to end up going this way. Alright, so instead they're going here, which we can take. And now we're up a piece. And that's it. We got to our 30, guys. That one was rough. First time doing 30. And yeah, you saw firsthand what that's like. It gets a little rougher. You got to try to start putting everything together and calculate more. And I highly recommend doing puzzles every day, so that way you get more used to that. Maybe start using this checklist that I made to do it. I feel like this checklist really works out. Alright, now we're going to play some games. And analyze them. We got to 1200. Let's see if we can get any further. And maybe I'll just leave the checklist. Do we want the checklist? I'll just leave it up. I don't care. It's not doing anything right now. Alright. The Chigorin, but on the white side. The official name for this is called the Jobaba. London. Alright. Now, we gotta really be careful with knight here. So, we're just gonna stick to our setup, but pay attention to this idea. We don't want to get forked in any situation here. Okay. We're going to expand in the center. Now, I feel like just in case, we're going to go ahead and not allow that anymore. And then we'll start just developing our pieces normally. They could kick our bishop. I might go here and trade, which would bring our queen in the game. Okay. I'm going to try to get my bishop here. Potentially. Also, we might be able to go here and bring the bishop out that way. Either way, this will give me more space on the queen side. After the game, I'll kind of go more back into how we got here. Okay, bishop. Do I want to go here yet? I could go rook here and then play this. Let's do that. Now we're threatening this, this, and this. So if we go here, he has this. We have this. And... careful, our rook and queen are lined up. So if I go here... and here, he could take this way, and then our queen would be vulnerable. So we could still play this. Although I don't want to open up my queen like that. Now if I go bishop here, maybe they go knight here. Okay, so maybe no. So I don't think this. Maybe I go queen here. Just put more control over that. Maybe now I can play this. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, so now here, if knight takes pawn, we can take there. Maybe they have bishop takes. That gets really complicated. Pawn here, knight takes. It's attacking our queen, so we have to take that. Bishop takes. Alright, so let's do the math here. They win a point. We win 3 points. Now we're up 2 points here. They win a point, so that's 1. We win 3 points, that's 2. So we're up 2 points here. Here. Up 2. Up 1. Up 4. So we're up 4 points here. Now, if he takes our knight here, we'll be up 1 point. But then we have takes here, and we'll be up 4 points. And they can't take back because our rook would take the queen. So this does work out. This is where the 30 puzzle rush really comes into play here. notice how all that decision making in one move, that really resembles the the 30 that we just did. Now if they move the bishop back, maybe we push the pawn then. We could even consider going here first, which would be a really nice square for our bishop. But then they have a chance to go here. But then we have knight here. Notice how, like, there's just so many possibilities here. But we should try to look at what happens if we just try to win pieces first. So they could try to go knight here, but I think we just take bishop. And it's also attacking the queen, so they have to do something about that, I think. Yeah, it's a pretty big move. There's so many other options. Okay, so they're going for this one. So, again, we lose 2 points. So we win 2 points. And then if they take here, we're up a point. This is up 4 points. Actually, there's an important detail there that maybe I didn't notice. So, if I take here, bishop takes, pawn takes, they have knight check, and then queen here. But I think in that scenario, I can go knight back and I'll be fine. It'll attack the queen and guard the mate. Okay. Okay. Up 4 points. Right. Now, if they take this first, then we're gotta really figure out what we're doing. Yeah, that's super precise. Because now here, here. Okay, we're still up a point. So, even if we need to make a move just to save our position, we can. Bishop here could be really important. Pawn here could be important. I kind of like bishop here. If he goes here, we can take this. And if he goes for this check, and he keeps going, I think our king's getting out, and our bishop is holding things together, I think. It's really sketchy, but I think... And if he tries to take with the knight, he loses his attack, and both pieces are going to be attacked at the end. I think that's what we're going for here, guys. Wish us luck. This could go either way. We could be getting checkmated here. This could have won us 4 points, and we might get out there. But I think this is also going to be just as good. I think we're able to hold on here, even if he gets here. I think our bishop controlling this square is going to be a huge... Okay, now we go here. Now we're attacking everything. attacking the pawn and the bishop. Alright. If I take this, we're up 4 points. If he goes here, attacking this, pretty sure we have here. Now, when the queen's here, it also eyes this. So pawn takes, queen here, rook here, takes, knight takes. So up 4 points. Takes, takes. Oh, we play knight takes and the queen guards the pawn. Okay, cool. It's kind of a weird move because it doesn't actually do anything. Like compare, like. So maybe now I just go here. It was threatening this, but I could probably just use the same idea. Alright, so if I take, he's going to take back with the rook. I have this covered, I have this covered. So maybe I just take. And we start opening up his king some more. Maybe we'll have threats of our own. Can't go here. He can take, but I think knight takes is probably fine. Or bishop takes, because either way. What's weird is we have this move in between, so if he does take anything, I'm probably just gonna throw this move in anyways. Notice in this game, like in the opening, I think he played it pretty well. And, like, the only, you know, I don't think he really made any, like...
Everyone we have to solve, money love work is second. There's traveling going out of range, lean spotted elation, brave the trauma from this children, they're mixing sport exciting.
Yeah, I don't know why that part's let's see. So, what was I thinking? Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I could take this, but then another rook takes and he's threatening this again. So we don't want that. We don't want to lose this either. Maybe we go rook here. And if takes, we go knight takes. And he can't take that because our queen's guarding it. We get a rook off the board. That's possible. Otherwise, I can go here, which would kind of force him to do something about that rook. Takes, knight takes. I kind of like that. I'm gonna do that. Okay, we gotta go every move fast now. So I'm just gonna pre-move this move. Look for trades. Oop. You're looking at my little song list here. Oops. Yeah, let's go ahead and just remove that. Okay. If I do that, he could trade and then take my knight. So let's go here. Gotta force some trades here, guys. If I take here, I'm just gonna take. Maybe go bishop back, which threatens the queen and the rook. We can also just double up the rooks. And that would just make it a lot safer for us. One of those two moves are probably going to be what I play. Okay. Bishop here is what I'm looking at next. Maybe takes. Bishop here is also possible. I like that. The other part I like about this is it's controlling this square, leading to a potential back rank problem for him. Okay. So he's taking 2 rooks for that, but I think the problem with that is I can go here, and we're really close to just mating him here because of that back rank problem. He can go here, but then I go here, and I threaten mate on the next turn. That's good. Alright, let's bring another piece in. Okay. Here and here I think is the mate. Okay. Here. And we got the mate. He played really well. That was a good game. The tactic there, that one move was basically like the whole... Like, notice he played really well. He took here, forcing me to move my bishop twice. And he only moved each piece once, he castled. Like, this is how you're supposed to be playing. I think 1200 was like the perfect level to start, you know, upping the explanations and the 30 puzzle rush, because it all kind of worked together here. Yeah, and like I'm a little bit behind in development here, and also this piece is just bad at the moment. So, let's see. Now, something we could think about is in the future, we know from the French exchange that maybe going bishop here. Actually, yeah, let's do our own little analysis here. I'm gonna cut today's games down to like 2 or 3, because that 30 puzzle rush took a little longer. So, let's see. I mean, we were still pretty fine here. Yeah, I'm not sure if... I mean, it makes sense. He wants to attack me on the king side, but I'm not sure if this was the way to do it, because it's going to take a long time for that to work out. And there's... He kind of missed the potential problems that are going to happen on the king side. Or, I mean, in the center. That I feel like he needed to sort out before he attempted the attack. Like, this is a pretty important threat. I think knight here is probably what he needed to play. And this is what we calculated in the game. And I recognize that maybe going like here and here was possible, but I saw that knight back was fine. And he took the rook first, which was correct. Like, this was probably the right approach. Now if I take this, I still might survive. Let's look at it real quick. I was worried about this. And here, even though I'm up 4 points, it really feels like I'm in trouble. Queen takes here, and then probably going to get mated. This rook's hanging. And this is why I decided to, in the game. Now let me give it, so, let's see, this is our normal setup. So usually step 1 is we just castle like this. Now, we expand on the queen side. They took right away, which makes sense, making me move twice. And it kind of lessens what I can do on the queen side because the c-pawn is no longer there. Okay, but I just kept developing normally. And I decided, maybe it was because of the French exchange from the last episode, but I just decided to expand quickly on the queen side. And I was eyeing this move, but I could have actually played it here. Because he moved the queen. That's a detail I missed. And that would have been pretty important here, because now we can play that. Oh no, we couldn't play this yet. Right. Okay, I didn't. That wasn't okay. I couldn't play that yet. So I played this move, and then he played this move to where I couldn't do it. And that's when I moved my queen here, trying to get. Now I renew this threat, and he allowed it. And so we did the calculation in the game, and I just showed you why I didn't just take this pawn right away. I made a conscious effort to save, to try to hold. I saw that bishop here threatens the rook, and now if he saves the rook, I can take, and even though he brings the queen here, I think I have an easier time of escaping that position. But without the bishop here, my whole king side was falling apart. And even if he takes this, his main attacking piece is gone, and I'm still threatening to win material here. And that's kind of where things went south for him. And I thought queen here was a little better, threatening the mate this way. He's threatening this and then this, but I feel like here, I would have to take with the knight and the queen would guard the pawn. But here, I just did the same thing. Was kind of short on time here, so I started just making moves a little faster. But now we're up like 5 points. I undefended their rook, which is kind of a nice little idea. Now he has to do something about this rook here. And he did that. Brought another rook in the game. I took that. And actually, I had bishop back here, which I should have played. But I was kind of rushing, so I just started making moves. And here, it's pretty much just finding the mate. I got all my pieces to the party. And yeah, mate was pretty much unavoidable here. Okay, and yeah, bishop here. If I went queen here, he was going to come around like this. So I decided that this was the best way to go. And either way he goes, he gets mated. But definitely played really well there. I think that one deserves a little bit of a computer eval just to go ahead and alright, we're not signed in. time. Yep. So let's go to our little. Let's see. We got my studies. If you're kind of familiar with Windows, you can set up bookmarks, and I just bookmark my studies in Lichess, and it takes me right to where all my studies are. And you can even go one step further, which I'm going to do right now, just so I don't have to repeat that step, is I'm going to bookmark this analysis. So now, if I go away for a second, like let's say I just close this window out, and I open another one. Where did it go? Helps if you know where you bookmarked it. Alright. So that didn't work out. I gotta figure out where that went. Okay, I went over there. Yeah, put it in my chess folder. All my bookmarks of chess things that I like to do. So now, close, put that there, and now you can't see the bookmarks, but I went ahead and created a bookmark here. Now it takes me straight to my study. Little Windows tip if you didn't know. Not. Anyways, let's go ahead and plug this in. Okay. Alright, here we go. We're the black pieces. Let's flip the board. There's some shortcuts on here on the keyboard. If you hit the F button, it'll flip it automatically. Little cool thing. Alright, got the computer. Let's get that analysis going. Let's see how we did. Alright, the end portion we definitely did good. Alright. Now notice in this graph down here, it's a little small. I don't know if I can zoom in. Nope. Yeah, I can't zoom into that. So, but essentially there's certain, like in the beginning, there were parts where my position was really good, and then I gave it back, and really good, and then I gave it back, and then finally there was this steep curve, and it was basically all me at the end. All in all, I got 93 accuracy, which is pretty good. Let's see let's see how it went. So in the game, it didn't like Rook E8. Now, let me get rid of these arrows. I hate those arrows. Alright, now the best move here was Knight H5. Trying to get rid of their bishop. Which makes sense, because, like, if they go here, for example, and they just go back like this, number one, we can... Well, no, because... Alright, let's see what it thinks. So it likes this move. So if we go here, they would probably go here. And then we just go back? I don't like that. What's the point of that? Is it because it gets it off the control over here? See, even I don't know everything, so I'm like, this is what I ask myself. Notice all the other moves, F6 is what I would think to play. Isn't really good. It's okay. So yeah, I would probably never play that, personally. If you don't understand an idea, then definitely don't go for it. I only go for ideas that make sense to me. Okay. So even though it considers it an inaccuracy, like, I'm never playing that move. Maybe I'd play bishop b7. Honestly, rook e8, it's still a fine position here. It's only... Sorry, my face is in the way. Let's go down here for a sec. Point 3 is pretty good. So we're still not, like, horrible yet. And notice one move... So this position's like... So if we look at the graph, I think this is where it thinks we're, like, back and forth. Like, rook e8 is where it thinks I, like, dipped up a little bit. But it's hard to say why. And immediately their move went back down. Then our queen move went back up a little bit. Each move, it went up and down, up and down. Okay, it did not like this move. So, let's see why. Bishop here, pawn here was the idea. So they can throw this move in, damage our structure. Now, what happens if we throw this move in first? Queen captures, and then we take. Oh yeah, things are falling apart really fast for us here. So here, we lucked out that he didn't find bishop here. We have to still go for this idea. And then here, we take, probably knight takes, which makes sense. Wow, we would be in trouble here. Even though, yeah, we're losing a pawn. But we're threatening to win a piece. Wow, this is, look how insane this position's getting. Like, and calculating that in a 10-minute game would take for, there's no way. Like, unless you're really fast, and we're not, even at, even at my level, I'm not fast enough to calculate that. So, in like a 10-minute game, we gotta try to make moves that don't force us to really use up all our time like that. Unless we're really familiar with it and we know why it works or don't work, we probably shouldn't do that. So after that, because they didn't find the best response, we kind of ran away from it from there. Okay, so he did that. Knight g5, rook takes. And yeah, look, bishop there was the best move. If I take this pawn, we're just... Actually, we're still doing okay. But it's not nearly as good as bishop here first. Because it kind of just held everything together long enough for me to win enough material to win. So now the big thing we gotta do next is just ask ourselves if we could have done anything better in the opening. So, like, let's look here. Now, another detail which is kind of important is, in this move order, they can go back into the French. So whatever you do here, you kind of gotta make sure it's like, resembles what you're doing. But after knight f6, they can't do the French anymore. So what's interesting is if you go c5 and they go e4, this kind of would end up being like a Rubinstein-like position. You can go here, here, and it kind of represents the Rubinstein a little bit. So, options. We can go knight f6, we can go bishop d6, which would just immediately contest that bishop. And that would kind of force him to move it again, or make an awkward move, maybe? So let's do bishop here. Okay. Computer likes just defending it. And we would give him this double pawns, which would give him control over this square. But this pawn this pawn could be a little weak at the right moment. Now, if we keep playing logical moves here, I mean, it ends up being a position. You know, try to get our bishop in the game, maybe. We could we could go like this. Okay, that's possible. We could also go bishop here. And if they continue with how they did before, we could take right away and damage their structure. Or just keep developing normally. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So here, we can already kind of put pressure on that pin. And let's see what people are playing in this. This is where the database could be useful. Down here, this little button here tells you what a lot of people are normally playing in this position. Alright, so we would go knight f6. And top move is bishop d3, knight e2, a3. So not a lot of people are playing knight f3 here. Bishop d3 seems like the move that a lot of people are playing. But then we can hit him with c5. They take. Okay, we don't even take back. Is it bad if we do? Okay, it's equal. But look, we're minus 0.4. So we're in the right direction here. So we don't even need to take that yet. It's probably because they can't do anything to defend it. Knight e2. They don't want the triple pawns. Okay. And now we have a chance to take. We can also play rook e8 to threaten this. If castles. Now notice they had a resource there, bishop here. And that could actually be kind of annoying to deal with. So that's why I think taking is probably the best course. And then now you can just develop normally, and I kind of like that. Knight here just I mean, whenever you see the knight here, hitting it makes a lot of sense. So going forward, I think that's going to be our approach. If we can just pin it, that's going to be our plan. Now, the question is, if they kick it right away, yeah, we just take. Give him that ugly structure. And I think we still just develop normally. Okay. It really likes c5 right away. Or castles. Okay, what happens if we castle? Because that kind of goes in line with what we've been doing. Bishop d3, knight f3. Okay, so now we get our c5 move in. And if they take, we get queen here and attack these pawns. They have bishop here. But I think we can take this with check first. And yeah, this looks kind of good for us. Yeah, bishop here seems like the main thing they could try, but now if you want to be really like, if you want to like kind of take it slow, you could go here. But now they have a chance to castle, maybe. It hates that move. Because I go here, forcing the bishop back, and now my knight becomes a monster. Attacking this pawn, and I think it's unstoppable. Now, so this kind of extends off of what we did yesterday in the French exchange. So almost always, if the knight's here, we're going to think about pinning it. Like immediately. Now eventually, we might run into people that know the top engine move, which is going to be like here. So it's good to have an idea of what to do. Alright, and the point is now if they hit a3 and we try to take, they're going to take back with the queen. So if they try to... If they make it to where we can't damage their structure, then we just move our piece back. And a move like this, the problem with it is it kind of just... It's kind of slow. And now we take advantage of the bishop placement. And if they take, we bring our queen in, or actually I like pawn takes better. I mean, both are probably fine. Well, queen takes is a little worse. Just because I think long term, if they castle queenside, we can get a rook on this file, and it could be really good for us. Alright. I think that's enough for this analysis. We only played one game so far, so that kind of... We need to get more games in, I think. And, you know, these 2-hour videos are hard to get through. I know, I'm sorry. I don't know how I'm going to shorten these. Maybe I don't need to. You guys let me know. Maybe I do episode by... Or I could split it up where, like, one video... Like... just the puzzle rushes, and then another video is just the games, maybe, in the future. Let me get my face out of the way. We don't want to look at that during the game. Alright. We got the French. Are they going to go into the exchange? They are. With an early knight f3. We're going to play solid developing moves. If knight c3, we're going to look to pin it. Okay, let's go for it. Let's see if we can... Okay, we're going to take that right away. And we're going to castle. So generally, if we ever see the knight there, we're just going to pin it, I think, is our approach. Okay, they're trying to get rid of their doubled pawns, but I think we can win a pawn there. Maybe. So first we give a check. Yep, and now I think we can grab this pawn. And now we're up a pawn. Now he can castle, and then he can try to get it back. But I think... So let's see. Bishop here. If he takes, I have bishop takes knight. And then either they have to damage their structure, or they have to give up this pawn. Or I could just hold on to the pawn and go like this. I think I'm going to do that. We're going to hold on to the pawn. Now, you could try to go here, and we can't defend like this because our rook would be pinned in that line. So if you want to... So here, takes, pawn takes, and then rook would fall. So we got to defend with the c-pawn, like this. And now we can just take back like this. And since... So the goal now is to like hold on to this pawn and then get these pieces in the game. Now normally they would have a move like b3 to try to break this up, but they don't. So this is actually... And this pawn's going to be really, really tough. Okay, now they're giving us a rook. Alright. I think right here should be good. We're going to put bishop here, knight here. Okay. Okay, we'll just hold on to it. Bishop takes, doesn't do anything. Okay, now we get that guy in the game. Knight here, we don't want to block our bishop. We might have wanted to consider doing that first, because knight here could be annoying. But he didn't go for it. Now we stop it. Okay. Queen here. Okay, what do we want to do? We could go bishop here. And so what does he do there? Can't go there. Could go there, but we'll definitely go for queen trade if he wants to. Let's do it. Let's see where he goes. Sometimes we make moves just to see what happens. And our bishop's a little bit more in their territory, so even if we can't win the queen, we at least make a little progress. Okay. We can go here and force a trade of rooks, I think. Let's do it. Yeah, let's get that. Now we'll bring our other rook into the game. And I think knight here could be good. Trying to get another trade, but he has this. If I go bishop here, he has this. So I think what I'm going to do is actually just bring my bishop back to kind of close up the king side a little bit. Yeah, see now I'm not really worried about that move. I could start just pushing this pawn. I don't know how he stops that. I could go knight here, which does force a trade. Either he takes this or I take that. I like that. Because now, if I can get rid of this, then rook here would be mate. Because the only thing that's stopping that back rank mate is this bishop right now. Okay. Do we want to take with bishop or rook? So if we take with rook, our back rank is a little bit more exposed. I'm not sure if we can get away with... I mean, we probably could, but just to keep things to get safe, we'll take with bishop. And now, I'm seriously considering just walking this pawn up like this. Because I don't know how he stops it. Another idea is I can just go back and then maybe play queen here. Try to distract the bishop. But our knight would hang in that line, so maybe that's not the approach. Okay. Let's go back and let's see if he wants to trade. I'll definitely trade if he wants to. We're up 6 points. Okay, he was threatening our knight, so we'll just move our knight to a better square, which keeps our king side safe. Now, do we want to start moving this? Okay, he's going that way. Okay, I think I'll go for another trade. And maybe we'll go... If I go here, he goes there. If I go there... Probably has to go there to not queen trade. Okay, I don't see what that does. So, we're going to go ahead and start pushing pawns. This guy can't go here. And any hole that he makes in the position... So if I go here, he wants to take. Makes sense. You can just go here, which defends it. Now he's going to have this move. But notice he can't push again, because we would take it. And also attack the bishop at the same time. Now we're also able to play this now. Okay, so what are we gonna do? Let's take a moment and create an escape square. Now we don't have to worry about any back rank problems whatsoever. Okay. Now our rook is under attack. So I'm gonna go ahead and attack the queen with the rook. Force him, and now he can't go back here, which is kind of important. So he probably has to go. Okay, he goes there. So I could keep pushing this way, or I can push this way. I like this better. Takes, and now we just have these two pawns, which are really hard for him to stop. Okay. So he's attacking the queen. If I take, he would take with check. I can go here. Now I lose 2 points there, but I'm up 6, so I'll still be up 4 points. Now I'm threatening checkmate, and I'm also threatening the promote there. So I think that's still fine for us. Even if they check and then win this, like, that's still not enough, I think, in this position to win. Yeah, because I think here we go here. He has to block with the queen. And if I take, he might be able to, so let's see, takes here. And yeah, he's going to catch our pawn. If I go here, 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 we promote. That's the key. And our, even just in case, we don't have to, but we can stop that pawn. And now we get the promotion. We go here, we can take this pawn off the board. Get rid of the last shred of chance that he has. Okay. I'm going to try to force him up the board. Check, he has to go here. Check, I think he has to go here. Check, he has to go here. Okay, he goes here, and I believe this is the mate. Alright. GG. Alright, we've got the French exchange. Now we learned that knight c3, the pin is pretty effective. And we were able to win a pawn and hang on to it. He gave us a rook for no reason, which kind of really went... That really kind of sealed the deal. And we looked for trades. We made sure we didn't blunder our back rank mate. And the important thing is, when you're winning, you want to maintain control. You don't want the game to be spicy and complicated when you're winning. You want the game under your control when you're winning, because that's you can control the outcome. Here, we're up a lot of points, and I'm in complete control. They don't have any counterplay, any way to really cause mayhem, and that makes it a lot easier for me to win this game. I can even give up material and force a winning situation. That's how good my position really was. So, in the exchange French, I mean, that's kind of why. So I think so if you're gonna play knight c3, a good option is to consider trying to get the knight to e2. Because if someone ever takes you, you could try to take back with the knight. And you don't end up having that annoying position. So something that I've played in the past personally is basically, so yeah, I play an early knight c3, takes, no, sorry, I don't play an early knight c3, I'm sorry. I go here, takes, and I start out with a move like bishop here. And what you can do is you can play knight c3, and if they pin you, you go knight e2, which kind of maintains control of that. And you can put your bishop on any of these squares. Okay, now they're threatening to take. If you were worried about this, you could have put the bishop here, but then you had to worry about knight here. So now you could probably castle. Yeah. Now if you really want to, you can even start out here. You don't even have to play knight c3 right away, because it kind of asks black what they're going to do with that bishop. You can try to be tricky that way. Alright, GG. We're going to move on to the next game. Alright, we got the white pieces. Okay, we got a d5 setup. And we got the Chigorin. I should have pinned it right away. We'll probably... Now... The difference here is... If I pin it, he could block with the bishop. So I might not do that here. I think pinning it is really effective when the bishop is outside the chain. But inside the chain, like this pawn structure here, if he can block with it, then I probably won't do it. So here, let's see. I'm probably just going to go here. And if my reasoning is wrong, we're going to learn that here in this game coming up. Okay. Now, they're really potentially threatening to play this. Alright. If they do, we could probably just take. Okay. Now, if I play this, I think I would like the idea of taking with the knight instead of the bishop to attack this bishop. So, I'm going to go ahead and play this move. And also kind of... Alright. So now, they're trading. So I can take, and if bishop takes, I can go knight here. And notice this kind of resembles our Rubinstein structure. It's literally the same position. So either we could do that, or we could just play b3 straight away. Let's see, I think... Let's not take. Let's not do that, because right now we have a little control over here. So I think we're going to go here and go bishop b2, like we do in the Rubinstein. And this is going to highlight the reason why I didn't take. Because now, well, maybe. Hold on, let me think about it. If I go bishop here, he might have bishop here. If I have knight here, he might have knight here. Okay, so maybe my thought process was wrong here. I mean, I can move the rook over. But then getting this bishop might be a little awkward in the game. Maybe I can go here. But this really stops any knight or bishop jumps, which I kind of like. And this bishop becomes good. Okay, we're going to do it. Now, if he finds bishop here, then we're going to go ahead and just move the rook. And I think he kind of needs the castle there, otherwise bishop here could get annoying for him. Okay, he's letting us get our bishop in, and that's really good for us. Now we kind of have our pieces in the game without a lot of issues. Alright, now I'm thinking about c4. Putting some pressure on the center. If they take, I'm going to take with the knight, which could then attack the b. Okay, he's going for that. If I take, he takes this. Alright, so we don't want that. Okay. I don't see an option for us here. Okay, I do see a weird move. So, bishop takes, queen takes, bishop takes, knight takes, and then we go knight here. So, let's do that again. Bishop takes, queen takes, bishop takes, knight takes, knight here, attacking the queen. Now, he might be able to go knight here. And then if I take the queen, he would take the queen. But then we take there and we win. So let's do the math. Up 3 points, equal. Up 1 point, down 2 points. Knight here. We're down 2 points here. We're down 3 points. We're up 6 points. Down 3. It's equal. So that's actually an equal position right there. If he finds all the right moves. I mean, I pretty much have to take anyways. So let's start there. So I think I'm going to go for it, and if he finds it, then that's just how it's got to be. We'll just try to outplay him in the ending. It's a pretty equal-ish ending, so who knows? So knight takes is what I calculated, and he'll be +3. So if I take like that, I'll be down 1 point. So that's not good. If he goes here, okay. Now let's think. This will be up 7. And if he takes this, I could take, and I'll be up 1 with an attack. Now, I could take this, he takes this, and then I take here. And again, I'm up 1, but now the rook's... So either I attack the bishop or I attack the rook. The knight. I think I would rather attack the knight. I think the bishop's better in these lines. So, knight takes, bishop takes, rook here. Move the knight, and we're up a pawn. Now I can go here, being up a pawn, and he probably could just move the queen out of the way. Let's go for this one. Okay, and I think this... Let's see. Yeah, because he might have knight here. And if my rook moved here, he would have this, and I'd have to move back. So this is the right rook to move. No, okay, he doesn't even find that, which is good. That could have actually saved him a little bit. Now I'm thinking knight here, force a trade, and get my... If he takes me, I'm going to be able to get a rook deep in their territory. If not, I'm going to take them and damage their pawn structure. Now we are down on the clock, so we're going to have to move a little quicker here. If they try to trade rooks, okay, well, even if they don't, we're still going to double up our rooks. Now we'll create a little space for our king to get out. I think I'm going to go f3 and d4. F3 and e4, sorry. Okay, if they take here, check. Takes, maybe they, okay, yeah, let's not do that. Let's just go here. We'll start pushing our pawns a little bit. And the problem is, if the king tries to attack our rook, then one of these pawns might be hanging. So they probably have to try to defend those first before, they probably have to push both pawns before they can even do that. Now, I'm going to go here, which stops this pawn and this pawn. And now we're going to move our king up. And now, keep going. If he goes over here like this, notice the king's trapped now. He can't even get past this row. And this rook's stuck defending here. So even though it's, well, we're up a pawn, but okay, we can just keep pushing our pawns. This pawn still can't move because this one back here is defendant. Okay, let's. Okay, we'll just keep pushing pawns. Do we want this one or this one? So if we go here, he might have rook here. So let's take here. Keep everything compact. Okay, now if he pushes. Okay, I think I want to bring my king closer. So king, yeah, let's just do it. King here, if he pushes, I can take and then bring my king up, and then maybe even infiltrate that way. Now he can't even push. Okay, now let's see, what do we want to do? If I go here, he has this. I can go here, he has this, I have this. Now I could also go this way, which might be better. Yeah, let's do it. If he goes here, I go here. If he goes here, I can go here. If he goes here, I have this. And I think if the rooks come off, he doesn't really have a way to do anything. Especially now. Now he can just pre-move and win everything. Don't really have to think too hard, just get your pawns all the way to the other side of the board. Can't stop all of them. Even if he sneaks in a little pre-move. One of them will eventually get there. Yep, and yeah. I would say, let's see, the opening went pretty well. Trapping in his bishop, kind of, with the combination of this. But he did end up playing this, which kind of worked out for him. Like here, probably just castling. Maybe this trade was unnecessary. Like it. Probably just castle. He didn't need to do that yet. Like, I'd probably wait till here, and even then, maybe you could just play, like, queen here. I'd rather not move my pieces twice. Or if you don't, I generally like keeping pieces on the board. Gives you the best chances, so maybe knight here would be fine. And long term, you're going to be able to get your bishop either to one of these squares, which is so his opening I think went pretty well because he basically got a quick e5 in, but he didn't end up playing. He didn't use it well, I guess is the way I could say it. Like his starting plan was pretty good, but then he didn't actually follow through with kind of why he went that direction. Now for us, um, could we have stopped this move? Maybe. Now if we play c4, you could maybe take and then try to do it anyways. So I didn't want to go c4 like that. Now, which is kind of why I played here. If he like waited one more turn, now when I play c4 and he takes, I can take with knight, and it also kind of prevents him from going in that direction. But now he went for the push. Take. Okay. Now here it's still pretty equal-ish, so we're actually not. He's not not even that bad right now. Now I found this idea, but I thought here he needed to play this, and when I go here, he would take here, and then I would probably take with probably this rook, so that way this guy can go over here. And yeah, we have an equal-ish position. Except for my pieces are kind of more into the game right now, but maybe he just goes bishop here and then get one of the rooks into the game. I'm not sure how I make progress here. I would probably consider like doubling up my rooks, but then he can go here and try and just trade them off. I would just do it anyways. But I got to be careful too, because if he goes like this, we both have some back rank problems. So this is kind of a funny scenario where I can go like this and think, if you take me, I'm going to mate you. And if he does the same thing, then it's like, all right, then we just probably just go back and try to maybe get my knight here, maybe, or I don't know. Actually, I am threatening this and hit the bishop and then go here and win a pawn. Rook here could potentially be a problem for him. But it's still kind of equal-ish, so I don't know. Let's take a quick engine look. I'm not going to put it on the Lichess one this time. I'll just go here. Just to see if I could have improved. Because right here is the moment where I wasn't sure how to proceed. Okay, so maybe we got c4, b3. Okay, so if I play a quick b3, see, I don't like doing this too early, usually, because this check could be annoying, forcing me to have a weird pawn structure that I don't really want yet. I could have played knight b2. Oh, wow, and then push e4 straight away. Hold on. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Bishop. I could have done bishop here, too, maybe, and done that. Bishop here, and then maybe e4. It's probably not as good, though. Because of knight f6, yeah. At least, if I do it with the knight, and he goes here, Boom. D takes. Knight takes. Could probably just play knight f6, right? But then we get bishop g5, and we can start just getting our pieces in the game, and probably has to go back just to try to not... But then that's already a step in the right direction for us. It wants to take... And then go bishop here. Probably go bishop here. And then just castle. But then maybe you can go there. No, because we could always take that. But even, you know, we don't have to take. We could, I guess, trade all the way down. And then go bishop e5. But I don't like bishop b5 with the bishop there. I don't think I like that. Now, what happens? Knight g3. I guess we can't really play this because he has knight takes. So we could also just consider bishop here. And then if he takes, we just have a bishop like that. And if he castles, really likes knight takes, queen takes. Oh, and he loses his queen there. He has to go there, and then, yeah, we're just doing good. Okay, so going forward, knight c6 combination with blocking in the bishop. So they don't go for the French, and they don't get the bishop out. They close in their bishop and they play knight c6. When this combination occurs, we should be looking to get our bishop out this way if we can. So knight here. And now we have the choice of either going c4 and e4. You know, I mentioned this before, but I played it to, you know, I played this move first. If I want to go for that idea, then I can actually start with this move order. And now, if they go here, we can push e4 or c4. And then if they try to stop us like this, I could probably play bishop here, which gives them knight here, which might be annoying. So we might have c4. Bishop d6. Which is what they played in the game. Bishop d3. Sorry, I don't know what's going on here. Clicks, castle, castle. And, like, I think anytime they... So, castle. And then if they push... Doesn't really work out because of c takes. Okay. So going forward, I think we'll start off this scenario with knight d2. All right, GG. We got 2 more games to go. Okay, looks like they're doing our setup. Copycats. Although they went first, so we're copying them. But no, see, they made a waste. This is kind of a waste of a move. They didn't need to play it. Is kind of the thing. It's probably fine, but alright. So, they blocked in their bishop. So, this might be another opportunity to try to push this way. I'm going to start here and go knight here, and then try to push for e5, I think. When I could castle. he's timing out. Come on, no. All right. I guess 7 more seconds and we win another game. Which is kind of good because this video is getting a little this video is very long already. So, yeah. Maybe what I could do for these videos is do like part 1 and part 2 so that way it's not like a whole 2 hour. I mean, you could always just pause it and come back later if it's, you know, so but maybe you guys don't like the 2-3 hour ones. I get it. I don't know. Let me know if you have any insight on that. But we got more points, and now we're on our last game for the day. Okay. They're starting off knight f6. They haven't really controlled the center yet, and they're kind of getting our same setup here. I think I know I want my knight here, so I'm going to start just playing this move and seeing what they do. And I think my plan is going to be to try to go for this more often. Let's castle first. Okay. Now, if I go for this, they might have here. So let's take a moment just to get my structure nice and solid here. And look, we're kind of actually getting the same type of position we saw before. And now we know we can push. And that's what we're going to do here. I'm not really going to think about it too much. Okay, he pushes as well. So, what are we doing here? If we take this way, he has to take here, I think. Otherwise, he's going to lose that guy. Takes. 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 Okay, I think I know I want to take this way, so I'm just going to do it. Alright. And now, what do we do next? He's threatening to take here. I could try c4, but he has this. I can go bishop here. And if he takes... Let's see. Takes. Takes. Maybe he has bishop takes, but then knight takes. That's a very weird line. The point of... Maybe I go queen here. But he has this. Queen here? No. Bishop here. Bishop here. So if I go bishop here, I threaten this. And if he moves it, I threaten... I could take this, and I think I win a pawn there. Let's go for it. So if he... Alright, he's going there. I think bishop takes, pawn takes, and yeah, I think we're just up a piece there. Or up a pawn there. Oh! The Frankenstein, our dog, is talking to us. Yeah, she's ready. She's sick of me being on this computer for 2 hours. Okay, if I move the knight... Okay, takes... Gotta be careful of knight here. And that could be annoying. So, knight here, queen trade, here. If he goes check, I have here. It's a lot of trades, but I think it works out because I'm up a pawn, and if all the trades happen, I'm up a pawn, and he has a bad structure. So that's an option. If I go here, he has this. What if I just go... Nah, let's just go for it. So we'll pre-move that, and if he goes here... And what's nice is if he takes our bishop in that line, we can... we don't have to worry about developing it. Alright, so rook... So let's see, rook to... Okay, he's going there, so now we can actually just win the piece. And now we're doing really well. Okay, I think we're going to trade queens, and then I can move this knight. Probably going to go here, try to force a trade. That's the plan. Yep. I don't really care about taking the pawn. I want to trade pieces. Actually, by getting rid of the bishop, I'm going to end up taking a pawn anyway, so kind of just works out that way. That wasn't the reason why we did it, but sometimes when you do good things in chess, things just work out for you. Part of it's luck, part of it is just good principles. You know, if you have the right mindset when you're making moves, then things are more likely to work out. Okay, GG. That was the last game for today. Let me go ahead and analyze it real quick and see. They basically played the same setup we did. Now, we actually learned how to counter it. Or maybe not, but see, they went for a quick... I'm going for a quick e4 approach. So maybe on the black side, I definitely think that was the wrong approach. Pretty sure they have to play c5 to try to slow us down with doing that. Because now if I try it, it's like a little weird. So I probably have to go like c3 or b3. But, see, this kind of gives me what I want too, because I can take, and then I can go a3 and b4 and get the bishop out this way. So I'm not sure what they need. Let's see what the engine thinks. I'm just going to quickly look and see what the engine wants you to do in that opening. So they want you to quickly go c5. This makes sense too, because if I try to go bishop here, they can hit me with c4 and force me back to where I can't play that or that. So maybe for us black players on this side, now if we say the same thing, so now we know we can't do that. But already, even now, but maybe now we could just go here, and we still get this position where eventually they'll move their bishop, and we'll take. So for me, c5 is good. I like seeing c5. Let's see, what else could they try? What if we do the same thing? Well, probably the problem is I'm gonna get there first. Although, this might make sense. And the point is, if I take, they could take with the knight. And maybe that is the secret sauce for this position for us, for black. Because, we're learning lessons on both sides here. Because this is basically the setup we play for black and white. So when we face our own setup, now we're going to know a little bit more about ourselves. Because now if I take, he can take with knight and it'll kind of be annoying to this bishop. And for me, looking at this position, I'd think about that and say, okay, well, bishop here is probably going to run into c5. Now, as the white player, you know not to let c4 happen. So you could try to play like b3 here. But then that goes into a whole different structure, so... Now, if we try to beat... We could try to beat them to the punch and play c4. But then they get what they want. It's weird. It's like the first person that commits to an idea, it kind of gives the other player what they want. So it's hard to really make a move without doing that. Maybe you can just go bishop here. But yeah, see, the engine doesn't like that. Okay, so I think in these positions here, I guess we can also consider, I mean, c3 is kind of slow. Okay, so if we go for this, they hit us with c5. With this exact move order, we got to go b3. And if they take us here, we take there, and we're probably going to castle and try to play that through that position. Cool. So, how do we plan for that? So, essentially, this is probably the best position to start with. So when we go here, if they put, so depending on where they put this bishop, depends on our play. So if they go here, then this is probably a good option. We don't have to do that there either. We can still go there. So we could try to just have a setup where we go like this. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe going forward, universally, we'll just play knight here. And long term, that might end up allowing us to get more positions that we want. Although I could see where maybe this pawn push, so like let's see, might be a little harder to get. Yeah, it doesn't like it here. Yeah, okay. Okay. So pretty much we'll need to know what to do when the bishop comes out. To here, here, and when he keeps it trapped like this. On both sides of the board. So we already saw what happens if they trap in the bishop. So when they trap in the bishop, this knight e2, this knight d2 idea is really good for both sides. Now, a lot of people will probably mindlessly do this. And basically start off here. And you can actually get a pretty quick b5 in if they're not careful. Otherwise, they're probably going to go for c4. And then you can go for this idea where you play a6 and b5, and you have a really nice position there. But that wraps up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a really long one, but I might end up breaking it up into parts. We don't know. We'll see. Nah, I'm too lazy for that. So for now, it's just going to be one. If you guys really want it to be broken up later, I might do that. Because it might make sense for me too, time-wise, so I don't spend 3 hours in one sitting. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and update our tracker real quick, actually, before we go. We got ourselves the 1253. Okay, let's see. We got our goals tab. I haven't really been keeping up with that, to be honest. 1263. We got our puzzle rushes at 30 now. And okay, tomorrow's going to be day 5. I'll just get that fixed for now. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. I'll see you again in the next episode. Bye.